All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education meeting. Today is Monday, March 18th, 2024. It is now 5:30 p.m. Call this meeting to order. We'll have the roll call, please.
Dr. Alicia Johnson,
Here.
Dr. Nicole Perry,
Here.
Trustee Catherine LaValle,
Here.
Trustee Nathan Graycheck, Trustee Art McClinney, Vice President Charlie Fulbright,
Present.
and President Patty Poole-Gray.
Present. We'll now have the introduction of the interpreters, please.
My name is Lupita Reyes, and I will be one of the interpreters providing language support from English to Spanish and vice versa. Please talk loudly and clearly in order for us to properly interpret what is being said. A reminder of please don't say anything you don't want interpreted. Mi nombre es Lupita Reyes y soy una de las intérpretes que proveerán apoyo con lenguaje de español e inglés y viceversa. Por favor, hable despacio, claro y en alta voz para poder adecuadamente interpretar un recordatorio. Si no quiere que se diga algo, si no quiere que algo se interprete, por favor, no lo diga.
Hello, my name is Pablo Gonzalez. I'm going to be one of the other interpreters from English to Spanish and Spanish to English. I ask that you speak clearly and slowly so we can do our job to the best of our abilities. Muy buenas tardes, me llamo Pablo González. Voy a ser uno de los intérpretes de hoy de inglés a español, de español a inglés. Se pide que hablen por favor despacio y claro para poder hacer nuestro trabajo lo mejor que podamos.
Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda, consideration of additions or deletions.
President Poole-Gray,
Yes, trustee LaValle?
I'd like to move that we approve the agenda tonight with some additions to where you see on the consent agenda, there's a typo for February 27th of the policy committee meeting to change it to 2024, as well as additional information in my comments for the meeting of February 26 for student of the month needs to be added to my comments.
Anything else? Any discussion?
We need a second.
Support.
It's been properly moved by trustee LaValle, supported by trustee Fulbright, that we make the corrections to the February 27th to read February 27, 2024, and to make the February 26th to read for the Rotary Club. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. We will move right on to public comment. The Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have two opportunities on our agenda tonight for public comment. The Board of Education requests you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker should be limited to a 3-minute duration. If the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Board of Education and not to staff or any other participants. We have tonight Rebecca Brucci. Would you please come to the podium, please? Just a second. And we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. Let me get this. Oh my. Okay, you ready? Go ahead.
My name is Rebecca Brucci. I live on Collier Avenue. I am a teacher at Springfield Middle School. On Friday, the 15th of March, one of my students got angry, tipped over a computer cart, pulled objects off shelves in the back room, which contained his insulin and medical supplies and other things. When he approached me, and I was standing in the doorway, just watching to make sure that my other 3 students behind me in a timeout area were okay. When he approached me, he had his arms up and I held up a chair and backed out of the room. I then asked a student to go get Bearcat Watch. 2 Bearcat Watch came in to intervene. They asked the student to go with them. When they were leaving the room, the student kicked out a door, shattering the glass and breaking the lock. This is the 3rd time that he has done that since November. He then ran from the Bearcat Watch, and the school was put on a lockdown until he could be found outside. When he showed up today, I went to the office and inquired from the dean of students why he was back in school after what he had done on Friday. And all I was told was Black students are not to be suspended. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next item on the agenda is the Valkyrie Public School Board of Education governance guidelines and practices.
Point of
Dr. Carter.
order.
Yes, trustee LaValle.
Could we have the consideration of the consent agenda items there?
I guess so.
Okay,
My-
thank you,
my
thank you.
apologies.
No problem.
Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion for the consideration and approval of the following consent agenda items.
President Poole Gray,
Yes, trustee LaValle.
I'd like to make a motion of the approval of the following consent agenda items. A, trust fund. B, minutes of the special meeting on February 3rd, work session on February 12th, regular meetings on February 26th, and the policy committee meeting on February 27th. C, February bills. D, personnel changes and recognitions of retirees. E, membership report. F, finance report. G, the Battle Creek Area Math Science Center Cedar Point trip. H, Black Boys and Men's Symposium. And I, CW Post Stadium fence installation.
Support.
It's been moved by trustee LaValle, supported by trustee Fulbright, that we approve the consent agenda items. All those, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Now we'll move down to the Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education governance and guideline practices, Dr. Carter.
All right, we are at section 4,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
All right, are there any additions, deletions? Changes?
Dr. Carter.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, let Dr. Perry start.
well, just one thing to note, I forgot my notes last week for 3. I'm
Okay.
not gonna go back over that now, because I know we didn't have a chance to update what we did, but I'll compare against that.
Okay.
Once we get that. But moving on to 4. Starting with 4.1.1.
Okay.
Under H, I wanted to clarify where it says be aware that the newness lasts for a full year. I wanted to change that to at least a full year until everything has been done once. And then for J, I wanted to propose adding a J that says review commitments / governance packet and board policy with new member.
You want to put a time frame on that?
I thought it was supposed to be within a full year, but yeah, then instead of assuming that, we can add that on there.
Can you say that again? Review commitments
Yeah,
/
/ governance packet, which is this thing, is that what we call it?
governance guidelines.
Thank you.
In that same section, I have something for you going to the next.
And board policy with new member.
I would suggest that we put maybe a 6-month follow-up to make sure that they still is on track versus like whole year to wait and see if they're on track.
So-
I have a couple in that.
Would you add that where? Would you add that?
With J.
Also, review commitment / governance guidelines and board policies with each new member with a follow-up within 6 months.
Thank you.
Okay, and then that same section 4.1.
Yes. So C, instead of saying even for 5 minutes, I'm wondering if we just say briefly, you know what I mean? Like.
Meet with newly elected member after meetings to answer any questions about the meeting.
I was trying to figure out how to reword it, but instead of just saying even if for 5 minutes, just.
I like the word briefly.
Could you didn't briefly meet
Yeah.
with
Could
the,
you just end it with the meeting,
Yeah.
period?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed. So the different types of meetings, what study?
We do general work sessions, a study, I would change that to retreat.
Okay.
That's a better word for it.
Yeah,
And we do have workshops.
Okay, and then
Mhm.
the newly elected, that should be doesn't know, right? Doesn't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
grammar check.
In my everyday language, I say you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know, right.
A formal report, maybe not. 4.1.1, any other discussion?
At the top paragraph, I had a question upon election. I had a question mark there, but I understand why it's put there because it would be the election of new school board members. So does it need to say, or does it need to be clarified? I guess is my question there.
Within 1 month of election? Maybe, you mean like putting a time on it?
I think you could.
A new board member will review key items with the superintendent, board president, board trustee, mentor, and or superintendent teams. Individuals will be assigned what? By the president immediately upon
I
assigned.
was looking at A. A talks about a mentor. Is that what it's referring to? That wasn't a complete thought.
It's probably repeated from that paragraph, but if we just ended it immediately and just left off upon the election, since it's repeated there on A coming up. It just says individuals will be assigned by the
This is still
president
not complete
immediately.
to me. Individuals will be assigned what?
Right, there needs to be a word after assigned.
Mm-hmm.
Assigned a mentor, maybe something didn't get typed. Yeah, I think it's a mentor, right? Individuals will be assigned a mentor by the president immediately upon election.
The only thing which may be irrelevant, but assigned by the president, like if trustee LaValle really wants newly elected A, and I say, nope, you get like why does it have to be by the president? Why can't we just have a thing saying like we do for the school board assignment? I mean, school building assignments, like why does it have to be?
Can I take that sentence off? If you just read, why do I need that sentence?
Yes, I mean.
Because it just goes into the next paragraph that talks about the one.
That would be okay to
Okay.
remove it. Yeah.
After I reread it, and then we can decide how it's assigned.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else for 4.1?
I had G, can we label, explain how to register for MASB classes and workshops?
MASB, yes. Can we also say, or any other relevant professional development? Because people go to the national
Right.
conference, does that make sense?
Yep.
Or.
But would a new board member go to a national conference?
I think it's just about how, if they do, right? It's about making sure they know how.
Any other relevant, what did you say? Development?
Professional development opportunities. It might not be national, it could be an ISD.
Sure.
As a point of order, I know you thought we might be able to finish these, but should we put a timeline that if we'll stop at 6?
That'll work.
Okay.
That will work.
4.1.2.
Before we move on to
Oh,
that,
sorry.
4.1.1A was where I was looking when trustee Valley started speaking initially. With the immediately upon election, do we want to put a time instead of immediately, so we can define it, so like within a month of election or
Okay.
some kind of
Yeah.
timeline around that?
That sounds good.
Within a month.
Because the elections are in
following
November.
The election.
Or if you have a special one though.
Yeah, it could be a resignation and then
That's
we
right.
assign
That's
somebody.
So I was trying to think of a
So-
time that gives something, but immediately is, you know, we all can interpret that differently. I just want it to be less subjective.
Well, now you just have me questioning the word election because some people are seated without an election. So how could we change that?
Just say upon election and or appointment, yeah.
Upon election.
Or you could just say new board members will be assigned a mentor within
30
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
Yes, simplify.
4.1.1A.
New board members will be assigned a mentor, scratch the rest, within 30 days of
30 days.
assessment. Remember, this is first, we'll get it
Right.
down and then do a final review.
So that A starts with the word assign.
No, A now reads like this, if it's okay. New board members will be assigned a mentor within 30 days of assignment. That makes sense?
Well, I was just trying to, each one of those items start with a verb.
Oh,
And I was just trying to keep it with the confidence of just assigning that action word that goes there. I think it'll work out. It's just where I wanted to keep it
oh,
all.
I'll wordsmith
there.
it to assign should be the first word.
I think so.
Assign each new board member within 30 days, a mentor within 30 days of assignment. Okay,
Mhm.
I got it. I'll.
Assignment or appointment.
um,
Thank you.
Does placement capture both of those words?
Yes.
Placement. So we're just gonna put assign.
Yes, assign each new board member a mentor within 30 days of place.
I took out each new. Assign new board members
Yes.
a mentor within 30
Okay,
days of
got it.
placement.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Are we good on 411? We can go to 412.
I just have at the top of the page on B, take out liaison and put representative, listens and learns, but does not serve as a direct advocate for the school or program on issues.
Am I missing something?
Where are you, Kathy?
Oh, I went back a page. Sorry, my fault.
It's okay. I was like, I don't.
Let's go to
412.
page 25.
Gotcha.
Right, okay.
25, okay.
I'm good with everything on that page except down at C where it says facilities director for additional background information. Do we need a 2 after C 4.1.3.1?
Okay, now, okay, finance director, I found it. Say
But
that
it's
again, I'm sorry.
Well, it's at facilities director.
Oh,
C, okay.
C, facilities director, and what was the change?
Just do we need a 2?
Oh, I don't think so,
Well,
because there's only one.
maybe just take off the number 1 and just say possible tour of central office facility, map of facility.
Map of what facility? The central office facility?
Possible tour of central office facility, map of facility.
It would look odd, I think, if we took the one
Yeah.
off.
So possible tour of central office facility. Just leave that. I don't know that you want them to have. What are you gonna do with that?
Nothing.
Okay.
I would take possible too. We just make it tour of central office facility. I don't know what the second one would be for facilities though.
Would the second one be map of facility by itself?
Wow.
I just don't know how useful that is. So I guess the question is, what information would you want from the, oh, I know, a lot of new board members ask for our, I'm just gonna say, because I don't know what to call it, but what are our assets? So what buildings do we still own? Those kinds of things. So
Mhm.
a 2 could be, and there's a better word for this, but I'm having a brain. But, an asset map. But it's not,
Inventory, is it
Yes.
inventory, what's the first week?
inventory of facilities, of district-owned facilities.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Well, I have where it says 4.1 G, introduction to principles and buildings. So would that tie together with that?
I think what I was trying to get at is, how many people will ask, we still own Southeastern, we still own Urbandale, like people want to know that.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I can give you an inventory of district-owned properties and facilities.
Properties,
It's
yeah.
property,
yeah, let's use properties.
okay. As number 2,
Thank you.
okay. I'm gonna go back and say anything else under 412.
Nope.
413. 414, which is board member responsibilities.
Okay, let's go up to 413. A with 4, review of hiring process and exit interview. Since we now have a process of that.
Okay,
Where's that one at?
that is number 4, under A, assistant superintendent.
And you want to add a 5 or?
No, number 4 says review of hiring process and exit interview process.
Very good.
And now that I read that, it's not our assistant superintendent,
No,
it's our
HR.
human resources.
Mhm, I was wondering that.
It's
Oh, wow.
really, why did they put curriculum in
That's why I
there?
circled that, because I'm like, none of this stuff is, from my understanding, falls under assistant superintendent.
So I put A, I'm changing A to
Okay.
human resources.
Gotcha.
I think we need to add A, B, C, D, E, and make that assistant superintendent.
Why don't we just move down the letters? Assistant superintendent could be the new B.
Okay, I can do that. And the point I'm making is then that number 2 goes under assistant superintendent.
Okay, so we just have an A, a 1, 2, 3.
Correct.
So finance director is a C, facilities director is a D.
Yep.
Executive assistant, an E.
All right.
On the executive assistant, could we do an add-on of where it says E, reimbursement for the purchase of approved items, mileage expenses?
Can we just say approved items and expenses?
Mhm.
And that way we'll cover
Covers
all of them.
And expenses, okay.
Yes. These are the things that each of these individuals should be presenting to a new board member. Good, to get
Mhm.
clarity.
Yep.
So do we need to add anything else under assistant superintendent? Because once you fix that, it's gonna have just a one underneath. And I know Ms. LaValle, you like to have the multiple.
Yeah, I think we could come up with that
Okay,
and just see what the district team wants to add to that assistant superintendent responsibility.
Yeah, because right away, I want to say something about innovation, overview of innovation centers, because people want to know Fremont, what is, right? So I'll add overview of innovation centers and specialized programs. Okay, then we move to board member responsibilities and board member documents. Any questions about those?
That 4.1.4.2 board member documents, item B, just add MASB board governance guidelines and practices.
Okay.
Because that's an actual report.
Mhm.
wait for B, that's not referring to this document.
Now I'll show you what that is here.
No, but that means that this document isn't in there, right? I don't see it.
Oops.
Because we just
Guidelines and practices.
Can we
Yeah, that's B
change
right
G
here, right?
Where it says other,
instead of other? Oh, that is what this is.
Yeah, B is,
That is, so President Valley, B is referring to this document. Because that's what it's called, governance guidelines and practices.
the one we're editing.
So if you're talking
But I was
about,
thinking of the one that is our governance standards.
right, that's different. So I would leave B the way it is, and if you'd like, we can take the other off under G and change that to governance standards, MASB governance standards.
Sounds good.
I wanted to change A to commitments or whatever term we had, because we just using code of ethics, but that's something else. Did we change this to be commitments? I don't remember.
But don't you think, are we changing it in a policy? Aren't there code of ethics in the board policy though?
There are.
So is this
the code of
referring to
collective
those?
I don't know, wasn't clear on that. Maybe.
We could say code of ethics as identified in board policy.
But I thought it was in part of this policy too that we have already gone over.
We changed that, I asked to change that to commitments, because if it's, we already have a code of ethics in one place, we shouldn't be throwing. This felt like this was trying to be an add-on when that wouldn't be the proper way to do it. You're talking about 1.3,
Yeah,
It's, yes.
board policy
1.3.
2302 is what we would be our code of ethics, I believe.
it's called professional
Because this is
conduct.
in addition to board policy 2302. So code of ethics as identified in board policy 2302.
But it is that Board of Education commitment. We changed that title back on 1.3.
Right. Yeah.
So what will A read as?
Code of ethics as identified in board policy 2302.
And then for B, should we just put BCPS to clarify?
And there's Charlie's eye, contact list for fellow board members. We look at 4.2 and 4.3, and then we'll stop there.
Yeah.
All right.
So for C,
4.2.
I'm sorry, before
Oh,
we
I'm
move
sorry.
on, for C, it's just written very informal. So it's possible just begin with the overview, independent review of other policies on their own time. So we can say board policy, and I think what that's getting at is the specific pieces that refer to the board, which is part of that 2302. So I didn't look this up, but I would want to refine that to say that part is what we need to focus on as a board, and then again, on your own, you can get to the whole 900
Right,
pages.
I think I get what you're saying. You're saying, so right here, so if you're telling somebody what to review, this is like a checklist, right?
Mhm.
And what you're saying is, review the portion of the board policy that's just about
board.
governance and yeah.
The
So I
specific
can't
rules for the
remember.
board. I don't remember the
It's
section.
like
numbers.
1,300, I think, but I don't know, but I'll look that up and then come back with language.
Okay,
The 2000 series is
board. There it is.
thank you.
Board policy, section 2000. So C will read board policy, section 2000. Okay. Anything else on those?
Yes, I wanted to add a J, to suggest we add MASB course on Open Meeting Act.
What was that?
To add a J and
J.
put MASB course on Open Meeting Act. We refer to it a lot, but it'd probably be nice to take the course on it through MASB.
Mhm.
Okay.
But which one was that?
That's
I
a new J, a new J.
So under 4.1.4.2, I wanted to add a J. Okay. And then 4.2, I just put a question around timing. So it says current officers are to transition duties and responsibilities of their position to replacements, but that felt real,
It could be 30 days. It don't take all that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm new here, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
put
don't
30
think
days
so.
in there.
the quicker the better.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's just the ability to converse with each other of
Mhm.
certain duties that need to be remembered.
so here's what I would offer for consideration, because I was going to say within 30 days, but don't you want that to occur 30 days prior to the transition?
Oh, that's what I was thinking, because I'm
So,
already.
Miss Patty started January
Right.
1st.
I'm transitioning right now.
Exactly.
I gave Charlie stuff today.
If we're switching every 2 years, right? And it happens in January, when would you want to begin transition? I would say 6 months.
60 days works.
6 months?
I think you could.
I like.
Because one of the
July,
things,
Because we have that,
The new year starts.
yeah, that's a good,
it's kind of like,
slowly showing the person what this job entails. But we have to know who's the successor, because I feel like we kind of have a thing, but like 2 years ago, everyone like switched, like it wasn't how it should have been. So like
but that's because we had an absent board member. That's the only reason that we moved up the seats was an absent board member.
okay,
I
so
just
then.
add where y'all put my name tag.
Okay, so current officers are to be transition duties and responsibility. Whenever possible, current officers are to transition duties and responsibilities of the position to their replacement.
Within 6 months? Maybe
6 months prior to,
within 6 months prior
Okay.
to that way.
New office, 6 months before new office.
So I
Because there's such a thing as there's a president's board president workshop through MASB that's been quite helpful. And those are 2 individual classes. One's called Advanced Board
Mhm.
President's Workshop. And that needs to be
I
under,
took that last year though.
Mhm.
I was
That's good.
over
He's
prepared.
ready.
yeah, no, that's fine. That's great.
You said 6 months or, and I want to just add, or as soon as practicable on there or possible or whatever plain language you want to use. But I didn't catch what you said. So you said, current officers are to transition duties and responsibilities of their position to their replacement.
within
Within
6
6
months
months.
prior to. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me, it's like the grammar of it is.
Got it.
within 6 months prior to new
Transition.
office or transition to
Transition
But you
to
already
new
got
office.
transition there.
Or, so within 6 months prior to transition or as soon as possible. Yes, that does read weird.
We can just
I'll just start.
We'll
Think
work
about it later.
and a
Uh-huh.
little bit later, but we got the gist of what we're trying to
Yeah.
do. Exactly. And then new officers to review written description of position before taking office, which makes sense.
I have changed that to new officers will receive and review written
Oh.
description of position before taking office. Do those exist? Okay, good.
It's in the, is that?
Yeah, it's in board
in the
policy.
policy,
It's
yeah.
board
Yeah.
policy.
So yeah, that's just a reminder to find it there maybe. But yeah.
Okay, and finally, for today,
Yeah.
board self-evaluations are to be done annually. Board self-evaluations are to be done as a board and superintendent.
Good.
Yeah.
I would just say, we need to decide throughout the document if we're gonna do periods or no periods.
I saw that too.
I was there with. Yeah.
Hold on, where was that at? Near at.
We are very detailed. aren't we?
This is education.
4.3.
I was planning on getting through it, I think, tonight.
That's
So we
okay.
will move on to 4.4 in our next meeting.
I do, before we end, going,
sorry.
sorry, no, this is, so 4.1.4.2, where, trustee Dr. Perry added J
Yep.
for the open meetings. My question is, would that fall under H? Because level 1 class for MSB, isn't that one of the level 1 classes?
No,
It's not?
it's separate,
No.
level 2.
It's like
Oh.
level 2.
Okay, then disregard. We're
Yeah.
good.
And maybe you can
I had
make a
that-
recommendation, maybe it needs to become level 1
Mm.
coursework.
Now that you're on the board, Charlie.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that was
because why
odd.
wouldn't you get that right?
Right.
away?
Absolutely, yeah.
That would head off possible problems or
Mhm.
issues.
All right, thank you, Dr. Carter. Moving right along to reports and recommendations, Greg Bish. Elementary summer reading program, Kids Read Now.
Greetings. Sorry, it
Greetings.
came quick. All right, so I'm here to talk to you guys about the Kids Read Now program. This program is designed to address the challenges associated with the traditional summer slide. So it gives students an opportunity to get books over the summer. We have been doing this for many years now. I think we're about 6 years in. Last year we had 1,497 students enrolled in the program, and we had 11,803 books delivered. So we're very excited about this program. 83% of the books that got delivered were self-selected by the students. And we know that the students really enjoy this program. We have about a 40%, 40% engagement rate with families over the summer. So I'm gonna try to see how we can pick that up this year, if we can do it again. But yeah, it's a really good program. It is shown to, if it is fully used to its capabilities, to add about 2.5 months of instruction over the summer, from the research that they've been doing. So I recommend that the Board of Education considers the adoption of Kids Read Now, the elementary summer reading program, at a cost of $81,938 from Title I funds, to extend this over the summer again this year.
Any questions?
Madam President.
Yes, trustee Perry?
So I have one question. And do you measure engagement based on like people downloading the app and doing all of the survey stuff? Is that how we determine that?
Yeah, so the way they look at engagement, so they automatically get the 9 books.
Mhm.
But after the students read, the parents need to go on with the student. And I wasn't involved with it last year, all the details, but I know they need to go on, say that they read the book. I think they rate it and do some sort of survey.
Yeah, that's all
But
correct.
that's how they track it.
Okay.
It's from after they get the books that they go on.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving to a culturally responsive teaching, Dr. Magashi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
That's my height. So this recommendation is around culturally responsive teaching professional development for our middle schools this year. Culturally responsive teaching helps with teachers understand cultures, backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives of their students, enabling them to create inclusive learning environments where all students feel valued and respected. We believe that culturally responsive teaching leads to improved academic outcomes and greater equity. It's something. Sorry. Additionally, it fosters cultural competence among teachers, promoting empathy, understanding, and effective communication across cultural boundaries. Through this professional development, teachers will learn how to ensure instructional practices that reflect the backgrounds and experiences of their students, addresses achievement gaps, builds trust and relationships, promotes equity and inclusion, improving engagement and relevance. So Urban Connection Project there's 3 other steps to this process. So there's on-site assessment. So they go to the individual middle schools and do a walkthrough assessment. Then they take that information, they collect that data, and then they have a collaborative professional development across all 3 middle schools. And then based on what each site needs, they create a plan of professional development as well. It's a recommendation that Urban Connection Project provides culture responsive teaching professional development to the staffs of Springfield Middle School, Northwestern Middle School, and BC STEM during the spring of 2024 in the amount of $34,750 paid by ESSER 3 funding.
Any questions?
No.
Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right down to public comment. Thank you. New business. Oh, good. Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion.
President Blueberry,
Yes, Dr.
I
Johnson.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the elementary summer reading program Kids Read Now in the amount up to $81,938 from the funding source Title I.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Johnson, supported by Trustee LaValle, that we approve the elementary summer reading program for Kids Read Now. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion regarding the culturally responsive teaching.
President Blueberry,
Yes, Dr. Johnson.
I'd like to move to approve culturally responsive training in the amount up to $34,750 from ESSER grant funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Johnson, supported by Trustee LaValle, that we approve the purchase of culture responsive reading teaching. Is there any discussion?
Madam President?
Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
Sorry, I was trying to think of the question when you were up there, but I couldn't, so now I have it. So my question is, it says in spring of 2024, the Urban Connection Project, if we pass this, would be doing their cultural responsive teaching. What happens like with new teachers that we get in the fall of 2024? Like, how would we get them on board? Are our teachers going to be helping them, or is Urban Connection coming back to provide teaching to the new staff?
I can answer that. So this is for a pilot for this year. I've actually had our other schools, they're interested as well. So once we see how this goes, then we are going to bring them back in the fall. And we will cover our new teachers as well as expand it to other buildings.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Superintendent comments, Dr. Carter.
Thank you. I just want to say, spring break's coming, and so I want to wish all of our families a healthy, safe, and restful, relaxing break. But also to remind you that reading never ends. And so if you will take a moment to continue to read over break, that would be very helpful as our students come back from break ready to go into state mandatory testing. As a reminder, what you can do to make sure that your student is prepared is make sure that they get a healthy breakfast, that they get a lot of sleep, and that you talk to them about the importance of doing their very best. Thank you for all that you do, and to the staff in Battle Creek Public Schools, Demela, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Board member comments. Trustee LaValle.
Thank you, President Poolgray. Today, the Rotary Club of Battle Creek announced the Student of the Month honorees. We had 2 Battle Creek Public Schools students honored, Logan Hinsky from Battle Creek Central and Ginger Oswald from WK Kellogg Prep Academy. And they were treated to a lunch. Their families joined them in the ceremony, and just so proud to see Logan and Ginger being our honored students at this celebration.
Any other trustee comments? Okay, I have one. I'd like to congratulate Trustee Fulbright for his appointment with Michigan Association of School Board. He was elected as, well, appointed as member at large, and to congratulate him on becoming a master board member from last week. And thank you for presiding for me on last Monday also. And the policy committee, I am really grateful for Dr. Perry and the framework that this committee put together for the third parties. That was a lot of work. I really appreciate that. I think it's gonna be good for the district. Any other comments, complaints? Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
Sorry, well, I just remembered that we are currently in the holiday of Ramadan, a Muslim holiday, and it ends April 9th. So kids will be fasting. So just keep that in mind when throughout the school day and throughout not just spring break, but when you get back from spring break, it'll still be going on.
Right.
So just for awareness for everybody. And great things are happening in Battle Creek Public Schools.
Anything else? Seeing none, this